Alldus podcast is brought to you by Alldus International, supplying your expert AI and digital transformation staffing needs across the US and Europe. Today, you are listening to our AI in Action series, where leading minds in AI from across the world share their story, success, and advice. AI in Action cuts through the hype and explores the true impact of artificial intelligence in our world today.
You're listening to AI in Action. I'm your host, JP Valentine. Our guests today are Dave Jacobs, the co-founder and CEO of HomeThrive, and we also have Anika Heavener, who is the VP of Data Strategy and Operations. Guys, welcome to the show.
Thanks so much for having me.
Thank you, JP. Yeah, we're very grateful to be here.
And we're delighted to have you. So, guys, let's start with brief introductions of yourself, and then we'll move straight into the good stuff, which is HomeThrive. But Anika, if you wouldn't mind starting, tell us a little bit about yourself. Give us a quick journey for yourself in technology from where you got started to what led you to where you are today.
So I actually began my healthcare career more as a personal experience. Growing up in rural Pennsylvania, I saw firsthand the impact of family caregiving, as my mom was the primary caregiver for all four of my grandparents. So I really got to see the challenges of not only caring for our nuclear family, but also then caring for our extended family, and then trying to balance work and her own needs. So that was something that really stayed with me as I began my career in healthcare. I started out in healthcare strategy consulting, working for Strategy and the strategy arm of PricewaterhouseCoopers. I primarily focused on digital transformations for Fortune 500 companies, mainly in the payer and provider space. But I had a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to actually move to London and work on the creation of a venture capital fund called the Dementia Discovery Fund. It's a $350 million fund that focuses on novel therapeutic research. And in the creation of the Dementia Discovery Fund and my role in standing up operations for that, I really became fascinated and intrigued with the global challenge and rise in the frequency and case prevalence of dementia. And so as I was coming back to the US and my time in consulting was coming to an end, I was joining a large healthcare system called Mass General Brigham, based out of Boston, where I was the executive director of a $500 million enterprise data and digital health program. But I was still having this tug on my heart to stay connected to the dementia and the elder care community. So I actually started to pursue my master's degree at Harvard Medical School with the Department of Global Health and Social Medicine, where I was focusing on dementia care in low and middle income countries. And so for about 3 years, I was working what felt like 2 very busy full-time jobs, and made a promise to myself that at the conclusion of my time at Harvard, that I would pursue a job that was really committed to improving the lives of the elderly and making sure that the challenges of dementia care in the US, but also, with an eye to the future of international impact, was part of the job that I pursued. So a good friend of mine, who is actually one of the investors in HomeThrive, made the introductions, and the rest is history.
I love that. That's a tough act to follow, Dave. But if you wouldn't mind, please do just introduce yourself and then bring us into the idea behind HomeThrive and tell us who HomeThrive are.
Absolutely. I appreciate it. It's an impossible act to follow, but I've gotten used to it. And we've been so thrilled and fortunate that Anika joined us about a year ago. It's been fantastic. And so my name's Dave Jacobs. I'm the co-founder and co-CEO of HomeThrive. Over my career, I've done a variety of things, both large companies like PepsiCo, and done some earlier stage businesses, one of which was an Inc. 500 company. But before David Greenberg and I started HomeThrive, I was at a large medical products company called Medline, about a $15 billion manufacturer distributor of medical products. And I ran the post-acute business, nursing homes, home health, hospice, managed care, retail. And so I knew a lot about healthcare. I have a close family. I live in Chicago along with my brother, and my parents are in Connecticut. And when my dad got very sick very quickly and he wanted to be at home with my mom, despite the advantages I was fortunate to have, including a pretty extensive healthcare knowledge and network, we were overwhelmed with all the challenges, questions, decisions to be made, didn't know where to go and who to trust. And my parents really struggled because my dad very much wanted to be at home with my mom. And it always stuck with me that if I was really challenged by these kind of issues, what about other people who weren't fortunate to have some of the advantages that I had? And it really kind of was a motivating force, along with my partner, David Greenberg, to leave our cushy jobs at a big company and start a business that really, with a mission to be able to reduce the work, worry, and stress for family members who are supporting aging loved ones, and to enable those aging loved ones to live at home for as long as they can with dignity and purpose. And so we started that business about 3 years ago in partnership with Seven Wire Ventures, who had started a number of other companies, including Livongo, to really be able to do this, not just for hundreds of people, but thousands and tens of, and then eventually millions of people, and support them kind of through this journey that they go through over an extended period of time.
That was a pretty good attempt, Dave. I'm not going to lie. And I appreciate you sharing the personal story behind the idea of HomeThrive. So you've teed it up nicely, what you're trying to do. Can you give us some insight into the how behind it all? And then Anika, will have you come in and talk to us about the role that technology and the use of data and AI. But Dave, to start, give us the insight. How are you guys tackling this problem? Because it is a large one.
It's a large one, and the challenge is, how do you provide a highly personalized, empathetic, effective experience and do that at scale? So you could do it on a small scale and be able to help, hundreds of people, but we want to be able to help millions. And so what we are doing, and Anika can really, she's a driving force behind this and can really explain it very well, is we're combining kind of technology. We describe ourselves as a tech-enabled service. So we are combining technology with kind of a human element to be able to give people the support they need ongoing through our, we call our Dari digital assistant, that really gives people a lot of the direction and guidance and resources that they need. But when they need a higher level of help and a more personalized level of help, we have integrated we call Dari Dedicated, which are our care guides, social workers who are all our employees who have deep experience working with families with older adults. They are able to come in and work with a family and help them navigate particularly intensive experiences that might include just after somebody falls and they're in a facility and they have to come home and there are decisions to be made, or deciding whether or not somebody can remain at home or they need to go to a senior living facility, things like that. So it's the integration of those two things that will allow us to continue to have a really significant impact on families, but also be able to do it at a much greater scale and at a much lower cost, so that it's available to millions of people, whether they're members of a Medicare Advantage plan or an employee at a large kind of self-insured employer.
So back to you, Anika. Your role obviously covers a lot with the level that you're at, but if you could give us some insight into what's actually involved as the VP of Data Strategy and Ops, and then walk us through what role AI and data analytics plays in driving HomeThrive's mission.
Sure. As you mentioned, I'm our Vice President of Data Strategy and Operations, and that's a little bit of a funky title, but welcome to startup life. And when Dave and I were dreaming up this job, the things that were important to us were, first and foremost, is that data unlocks the value of a company. We have to know our business, and I really enjoy empowering our teams with insights. But to that end, operations is the mechanism that allows us to do something about those data-driven insights. So I really appreciate the transformational role and oversight that I have in supporting the mission of HomeThrive. And so when it comes to how we then apply that to advanced data analytics and AI, again, as Dave said, the value we provide to our members anchors on our ability to support them in their caregiving journey. And I view that as we need to be able to meet people and meet our members where they are. And so one of the ways we're using advanced data analytics and building out our AI capabilities is to help triage our members as they first engage with HomeThrive. We want to be able to have them come to Dari and be able to feel that wherever they are in that experience, as Dave was mentioning, sometimes people are in a really acute season, and at other times they're looking for guidance and education. We want to be able to very quickly personalize their experience and get to something we as a team go after as a key metric around time to first value. We really want to be driving our member experience around how quickly we can get something that delights or enhances the caregiving experience of a member as quickly as possible. And so that's where we're building out our initial AI and advanced data capabilities at HomeThrive.
You are listening to the Alldus podcast. When you're looking to scale your team, or if you are interested in showcasing your company in a future episode, reach out today. Or if you're in the market for a new role, visit our website to view open positions, www.alldus.com.
Anika, Dave mentioned the platform Dari in one of his previous answers there, but I want to get your take on it. Speaking to an audience of data professionals and engineers, tell us more about Dari. What is this tool or platform that you're using, and what's the engineering and project work behind the scenes look like to make this happen?
Yeah, absolutely. So as Dave mentioned, Dari is our family caregiving platform, and it's really the anchor for an individual's experience with HomeThrive. And part of the value of Dari is that we are creating a launch pad for a family, whether they are just learning about a particular disease or they're family planning for what it could look like to successfully age in place. Or again, they're at a more an acute season where they need help now and they need expert help. And so what we've created is this combination solution that includes what we call Dari Digital and Dari Dedicated. So the Dari Digital Assistant delivers that expertise and advice of our social workers, which we call our care guides. And that really puts that in the hands of our users to tackle topics like Dave mentioned around Medicare or Alzheimer's, or a very popular one for us is choosing long-term care. But then on the other side of that spectrum is around Dari Dedicated, which connects our users to dedicated care guides, those social workers who have master's level degrees in social work and to truly know the ins and outs of successful aging in place. And they can really help navigate help a family navigate the complexities of aging and the healthcare system. And so then how do we do that from a tech perspective? So we have worked very hard to create a unique team dynamic that really blends together our product development capabilities, our tech stack, and then operations. And so with our team structure, we have been able to sort of craft a roadmap that allows us to build out the features that our members are telling us they need most. And so some of the things that I'm looking forward to in this quarter that we're launching are really focused on products and services, and also how we can better guide the member. And again, going back to data analytics and AI, we're building out triage capabilities that improve that time to first value. So from a tech perspective, we're really building out not only these foundational capabilities, but we're constantly challenging ourselves. How can we leapfrog? And that really requires us to get more and more data from our members. But it's a challenge that we face because all of us have experienced those surveys that you get online, or you feel like you've told your health history many times over. Why tell it again? So we're really coming up with novel and creative ways for us to do better data collection, be able to take those insights and then generate cohorts that allow us to better classify our members and again start them on that journey that is most aligned to what they're sharing with us, and then build out our knowledge of them as they continue to navigate and utilize Dari.
Thank you. Really appreciate that. Dave, I want to take it back to you now, just to sort of package together what the journey has been like thus far. Obviously, this has been your idea, your business, and you guys have been growing this since its launch. Can you give us some insight into what the journey has been like? And then really, there's a two-part question to this. I want to then talk about what's next and what exciting growth is ahead. But let's start with from where you guys got started. It's been coming up on 3 years now, maybe longer. So yeah, what's the yearly stage been like?
Like a lot of businesses, we knew there was a big need, but we had to narrow our focus to figure out what segments, both in terms of channels and even segments within a family, that we really wanted to focus on in the beginning. And so we spent some time doing that, and then being able to develop a business model and certainly a service model to make sure that that worked and was effective. And we started that with a much higher service model, and we have been able to generate very significant results for the members that we're supporting and their employers. So that was a very good kind of component. It took us a little while to get there. Of course, we had to build a team, and we were fortunate to have some really talented people, including Anika, join us to help us shape that journey and that process. And now we're at a stage where the question's been, how do we take what has been a high intensity, high touch service and be able to translate that using a lot of the data kind of capabilities that Anika was describing so that we can add a digital component and be able to bring it to a lot of additional people. And then that also opens up a lot of business opportunities and market kind of opportunities that weren't really possible when we were just dependent on the human kind of interaction and service.
And with those advancements and continuous developments of the platform, improving it all the time, Anika, there's obviously a lot of work on your plate with the engineering and data strategy. Could you give us some insight into what the project roadmap looks like for the next few years? And with that, what types of people are you going to need to hire to help you achieve this mission?
Yeah, absolutely. So a lot of our product roadmap, we have a pretty strong hypothesis around the value that our members are seeking from their experience at HomeThrive. But from my perspective, on a data and analytics perspective, we are looking to continually mine and better understand our members. So how do we build out those capabilities that allow us to effectively learn, generate insights from it, and then act? And my goal over the next year is really to condense that process to be as efficient as possible. So where as an early stage company, we've built out a lot of foundational capabilities when it comes to our data insights, the way we do, business intelligence, but there's a need for us to translate that into action much faster. And so I'm really prioritizing the way that we get to know our members and then making sure that we put the operational processes in place that allow our teams, whether that's in marketing, in client success, or our product teams, to really see what our members are asking for, that they feel empowered to go and build the features that our members are asking for. And that's going to unlock our growth and revenue.
Final question from me, and it's a question for you both, so you can each take turns. When you look ahead for the future of HomeThrive, should be an easy one to answer, but I definitely want to get your take. What are you most excited about? Obviously, start with yourself, Dave, and then if you can give us your insight on what you're looking forward to most.
It's a great question, and it's a simple question, but it's a challenging one to answer. I think what I'm most excited about is our ability to be able to help a lot more people than we have in the past with such a profound issue. I've been through it personally. I'm at a stage of life where many people I know professionally and personally are going through the caregiving journey, and have parents who want to be at home. And our ability to accelerate the capability to help a lot of people is something that really excites me. And it's funny because we're probably somewhat impatient. We see very clearly how we can do that, but to implement the data strategies and the insights that Anika was talking about just takes a little bit of time. As we continue to add more members, we get more data and we can get smarter. And I'm just very excited for us to be even further along so that we can be more effective and help people understand and anticipate the things that inevitably will be down the road for them and help them navigate those things as best they can. And I'm very excited for us to be able to do this for more people because I see the impact it has on those that we're able to help, regardless of their level within an organization, their education, their income. It doesn't matter. Everybody goes through these things, and it's so personal and it's so important to people. And we really want to be able to help more. And the combination of the technology and the high touch, but really the technology driven by these data-driven insights are really what's going to be key to be able to do that.
Dave said it really well around the things that we're excited about as a company. And I would just build upon that in that to unlock and really enable the future, we're very dependent on our talent and the team that we're looking to build out across product, technology, and data. And so right now we have about a combination of 12 engineers, 2 dedicated data engineers, and 1 business analyst. It's a really small tiger team to make all this work. We know that for the growth that we have envisioned, and really to deliver on that mission of really democratizing successful aging in place, we're going to need a far bigger tech team to do that. And so very much looking forward to FY22 when we have the opportunity to bring on more Scrum teams that'll support our product group, but also then build out that technology backbone and really continue to build out not only our data team and more data engineers that can focus on really ingesting our data, staging it well, and serving it up so we can make meaning of it, but really starting to layer on more of the AI and ML capabilities that we know are needed to effectively support the millions that we have envisioned coming to HomeThrive. I think the thing that I'm inspired by, truly on a daily basis with HomeThrive, is how rapidly I see our teams evolving in both our belief of how we want to deliver on the mission of the company, but then also the capabilities that we're putting in place. Day over day, week over week, and month over month, it's exciting to see how quickly we are creating this capability and enabling the growth of the company. So looking forward to continuing that in the next year.
We're certainly looking forward to seeing you guys accomplish all the things that you're setting out to do, because it's an amazing mission that everyone can get behind. Dave, Anika, thank you so much for today. I really appreciate you coming on and talking to us, sharing your own background, sharing the mission of HomeThrive, giving us the insight into the role that data and AI and technology can play in impacting people's lives. We really appreciate it, and we wish you guys the best of luck in the years ahead. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, JP. It was wonderful talking with you.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Alldus Podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review. We are available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and any Android podcast of choice. You can also head over to our website, www.alldus.com, to listen to more podcasts, view our open roles, and stay up to date with industry news. Thanks for listening, and stay tuned for more great episodes coming very soon.